broadcaster and journalist, Katrina Stewart, and the senior political correspondent at the Daily Express, Christian Calgi. Katrina, Christian, thanks both for being with us. Let's get on. We're going to go to an inside page of The Sun, page 2 here, Katrina, and this is Donald Trump's U-turn on phones.
Yes, not like Donald Trump to be a bit capricious, but he has changed his mind.
Makes a decision and sticks with it, doesn't he? No, not.
Usually. So in an unusual turn of events, he has scrapped the tariffs on iPhones and laptops and component parts. And these tariffs were going to be as much as 145% on these items, and there were worries that the cost of an iPhone would raise to be more than $2,000. So there's been a big pushback from the tech companies, and they've had, as The Sun describes it, the dream reward of having these tariffs dropped. Trump is saying that this is just to give them a bit of time to move the supply chains from China back to the US. It's very unlikely to be happening, but in the meantime, it is a reprieve. But if there is anything that illustrates the importance of the global supply chain, it is an iPhone. There's 1,000 different components in an iPhone that come from all different countries. So this is a money saver, but we'll see how long it lasts.
Yeah, I mean, they were going to be sort of over $2,000, or $2,300, I think, is quoted, and people have been rushing to stores to buy them as quickly as possible before these tariffs came in. It's big screen TVs as well that have been
yes, there was an astonishing scene, I think, of Apple flying like 5 planes worth of iPhones before the tariffs came in. But obviously, we saw Tim Cook at the inauguration, sucking up to Trump in a way that I don't think the sort of Californian tech bros were doing in the first term. And clearly that's now paid off big time for
I mean, the idea about onshoring the building of iPhones in the US, I guess, is great for the economy there, but it would take decades, surely, to build and get it set up.
I don't think you could ever really do it. In fact,
and it would cost loads as well.
Yeah,
it would. I mean,
the financial constraints.
I mean, Tim Cook has said that the reason they make it in China is, of course, nothing to do with the really cheap labour. It's all to do with China's amazing innovation. But we all know.
The truth.
You couldn't pay American workers what they pay the Chinese.
There's also a nice line in this about the relief of tariffs on certain staple items in supermarkets that the UK government is doing, and one of them is agave syrup, which means that our margarita cocktails are safe.
Excellent. Going to stay at, what, £15 a cocktail?
Important priorities for The Sun on Sunday.
£15.
Exactly. All right, Christian, talk us through this one. Revealed it is in the Mail on Sunday, and this is fascinating.
Yeah, so China wants to build an enormous embassy in central London, in Tower Hamlets, near the Tower of London. And the Mail on Sunday picked up that the planning proposals have revealed some very ominous suites of unlabelled basement rooms and a tunnel that have been redacted for security reasons. And there's speculation that they could be a spy dungeon. And of course, I mean, it's really worrying. I mean, even aside from this, the Conservatives especially, and many other activists, are really trying to persuade Labour to block this development because of concerns given... I mean, we talked about China, and we'll come on to China as well in a minute, about what their threat is from China. We saw it with the steel as well. But Labour actually have revived the application. It was originally blocked by the Tories, and then Rachel Reeves and Angela Rayner, among others, have sort of dangled it as a carrot to try and get a trade deal with China. And of course, it's been pointed out the irony that this sort of spy dungeon is being built next door to the Tower of London, which used to torture prisoners, and we thought that was behind us.
I mean, it would seem extraordinary if this is correct. Of course, now that it has been revealed, I'm sure there'll be plenty of scrutiny as to what's going on with this particular building. Katrina, I mean, it comes as well, doesn't it? In the time after we had the sort of almost the extradition of some Chinese students here taken to these secret police stations by Chinese officials. There is worry that people who are here, Chinese nationals, can be grabbed by the Chinese state.
Yes, and it also comes against this wider backdrop of questions around what to do about China. There's a split in the cabinet. Yvette Cooper's Home Office, David Lammy's Foreign Office, as it's described here. want to place China on the official list of hostile states alongside Russia, but there's disputes about how to manage that. And of course, this is part of the issue with Trump and the tariffs and the trade wars. Keir Starmer is not wanting to, draw that firm line with China because he's worried about global trade, he's worried about the economy. So it's difficult for them to move forward and make sort of explicit moves here because the economic situation globally is so difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've had recent delegations in China, haven't we, trying to smooth over those relations,
Yes.
high-level government officials. So it is a balancing act again for the government. And Katrina, sticking with the Chinese theme here on the front of the Times, Lib Dem MP unable to enter Hong Kong.
Yes, and these sort of issues around the relationship with China are such a theme across the papers this morning because this is the third story that we're talking about today that mentions this. But this is the Lib Dem MP Vera Hobhouse was going to Hong Kong on a family visit with her husband to visit her newborn grandson, and she wasn't allowed to enter Hong Kong. She was stopped at the airport. She could see her son. She wanted to give him a hug. That wasn't allowed. Her luggage was searched and she was taken straight back to the gate and deported from the country. She's saying that she wasn't given any explanation for why this happened, but she does sit on the Interparliamentary Alliance on China. So that's probably a bit of a hint as to the situation there.
It is. That is a grouping of MPs, and we're not clear. I don't think she's on that list of sanctioned MPs like Ian Duncan-Smith and some others are.
No, I mean, I imagine if she was, she wouldn't have tried going.
Right.
But she's the first MP to have been refused entry on arrival to Hong Kong since the handover in 1997. And, I mean, just further emphasises just how China is completely ignoring the deal that was struck. And it's just very worrying. And again, obviously, this impacts one of our MPs, but I'm always thinking about the poor people in Hong Kong having to live under such an authoritarian regime.
Well, as part of that deal, of course, as you know, Hong Kong officially becomes a part of China in 2047. Quite a long way to go, but we're well on that way now. All right, here you go, Christian. One that you have picked out, inside pages. Tell us, why have you picked this story, Christian? What's it all about?
So,
The vibe shift, Christian.
yeah,
A little bit.
On a lighter note, civil servants have expensed Swedish dog massage courses.
Such a thing exists.
If such a thing exists.
I thought it was going to be massaged by a Swedish dog, but apparently
I don't think they can do that,
I
yeah.
can't get it right.
The courses teach participants how to give dogs a full-body 40-minute Swedish massage to help loosen sore and tight muscles and improve comfort. They have also spent £474 on dog enrichment, including puzzles. I didn't know dogs could do puzzles. This is a major development. Sand pits and
Well, like
a
jigsaw
pool.
puzzles? No.
Well, I don't know. Are dogs doing Sudoku now? Is that, I don't know.
What kind of puzzle?
Civil
Dogs are
service
doing.
dogs clearly the best of the best. And obviously this is in the context of the Chancellor wanting to save a couple of billion on civil service expenditure, and there's been a big review into government-issued credit cards and all the rest. This is just the latest example of wasteful spending.
Hard to argue that's the best use of public money.
Well, I mean, Border Force are being absolutely bullish about this. They're saying that they make no apologies whatsoever for keeping our dogs well looked after, and anyone who wants to criticise the spending is barking up the wrong tree.
Oh, perfect. And a doggy pun at the end. All right, we'll pause there and move on. Oh, sorry. We'll move on to the story that I am told that you really want to talk about here. We've got loads of time. So this is about... This is in the Telegraph as well, page 9. It's about painting potatoes. What's going on?
I don't know how this has become so controversial, but Christian and I, offset, have been having an absolute rammy over this story. I'm all for this. You're sceptical. I mean, I'm sceptical about it. I don't think it's actually happening.
Right. But we used to paint eggs, right? And now eggs are too expensive, so we're painting sponges.
We used to paint eggs.
I have a
This is
vague
another
memory of
point
doing this
contention.
once.
There's
as a
no
kid.
past tense here. We currently paint eggs. You boil them in tea to turn them brown,
Right.
and then you paint them, and then you roll them sometimes.
You
for
missed
example,
out.
in the
I clearly
churchyard.
had a lacking childhood, but this article, it
We've
falls
got to
apart.
stop it there, but we'll talk about it. And you've got time to try it today. Katrina, Christian, thanks both for being with us. More at the top of the next hour.
A show of military might